I didn't realize I was depressed. I was just acting out and didn't know why. Cause like, it's like a big thing in like the black community. Like we nowadays, like now in 2023, it's getting better and better. But around that time, we don't know how to deal with mental health and stuff like that. They didn't really know how to deal with my ADHD around that time. So I'm just trying to figure out how the hell, what do I feel right now? Like I'm upset, I'm sad, but I'm angry, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today, man, we got a special guest in the building. He just dropped his album, A Ghost of Self. You had some very special guests on your album, but not as features per se. You had them as voicemail features, which I thought was also dope.
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. How you doing, man? LaSalle Grandeur. You can just call me Lassa if you want. Just do the whole thing.
Are you saying Lasso or Lassa?
Lassa. It's just Lasa. Lassa.
Somebody had told me, they're like, did you say Lasso? I'm like, bro, everybody be saying something different. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck it is.
It's Lassa. It's funny though. That's a new one. It's like there's people that be like Lotso, Lasso, Lassa.
Well, I mean, because you can't really hear where it cuts off. You can't hear the Lassa or Lasso. So I'm like, and you know what? I think Ayani called you Lasso, so that's why I'm like, is it Lasso?
Nah.
But my point here was I was gonna tell him you probably don't even know my actual name, so we're even. You've been having a lot going on recently. You just dropped The Ghost of Self. One thing, like I had mentioned, was the voicemail thing. I think that was a very unique touch. I think a lot of people do it, but you did it in a different way, and they were all people that were either important in the music aspect or important to you. So for you, what was the significance behind that?
The concept for my album was going to be called Proud of You. So I go through a bunch of different iterations, but that was going to be the more significant one before Ghost of Self. So at a point in time, I had a bunch of people send me like just like voicemails, and like I would listen to the voicemails and figure out like a subject around it just to find a way to write songs. But then over time, it just changes. That's what happens with artists. Like creativity changes and stuff. Your mind is always racing and like, oh, this new idea is better. So I just started making new songs, and then I was just like, it doesn't really feel like Proud of You anymore. I just felt like I was talking about being a ghost a lot. So some of those voicemails from that project made it, and then other ones, I just needed more significant moments. Like I know I have one with Sabo in there. I remember after I dropped my album Tears, I hit him up. I was like, bro, I don't know what the next thing to do. And then he sent me like it's a lot. I had like a bunch of different voice memos, but just on the thought process of like, who cares what your next thing is gonna be? Some people might think this is your best, some people not. You know what I'm saying? Like talking about it from his perspective, and then I have one for my mom on there. Because I lost my mom in May, and I kind of gave her like her own moment, like I did for my album with my homie Dylan that passed in like 2020 or 2019 and stuff like that. So I just kind of used the voicemails in a way to be like, these people, I'm not alone in how I feel. Like there's other people that feel the same way I do, and I think that helps relate through the music for other people listening to it.
You touched on a lot of things there that we're gonna get to all
Yeah.
throughout the interview. So I definitely want to, save that for later. And
Yeah.
my condolences, obviously, about your mom. Going through loss is a very hard thing, and it's something that you don't really know how to navigate it until it's happening to you, right? You always see it and you hear about it from other people, and I think when you don't understand it, you're kind of in this space where life moves on, and then it happens to you, and then you understand like, oh, this is what it is. Like this is what this person was going through, and I was so insensitive. I don't know. That's how I approached it before. Whereas now, like I understand, like I lost both my grandmas within like a 4-month span. So when that happened, I was like, okay, like life still moves on, but now I have this more empathetic side to it. But going back to those voicemails, right? There were about, how many were there? 6, 7?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but probably like 6, 7.
But there's a reason why you chose these specific people. Like you said, there were a handful of them.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of voicemail. I mean, whatever goes with the song. Like, so we can go back to the pressure. So the pressure was just kind of like it felt like. Well, the pressure is also like depression. I'd say that line in there, and it's kind of like the how I feel like the weight of just like of everything in my life, from like making music or just how my friends look at me like I got to be this person, and it's very hard to be this person, you know. And in terms of we go to like a song like "I'll Be Okay," like my friend Will Williamson, he's just like, why are you trying so hard to be someone else when you were just born to be you?
What person did you think you had to be though?
It's like this duality of like when you're like an artist, and I've noticed like like a lot of like people that when they make music or like even like basketball players or something like that, they have this duality of like there's this real person and then this person you have to be when you go out, you know? And I always felt like when you go out, like, dang, so this is how people look at LaSalle Grandeur. Like, I gotta be like this open person all the time and like talk about my feelings and then like, you know, uh people coming up to me like, "Oh, your music saved my life," like, and things like this, and then it starts to get to you. It's just like, okay, I got to keep up this appearance. I have to keep up this mindset, and after a while, it starts to weigh on you. You start to be like, so what do I do normally anymore? I'm not the guy at home right now. Like I'm always going out. Like I don't really get called like my first name.
It creates a blur between the reality and the perception of who you are, right?
Exactly.
Exactly what you're saying is you don't have an identity anymore. It's an identity crisis,
Yeah, it's an
basically,
identity
right?
crisis. Yep.
Because you don't even know who you are anymore. You've become this public figure that has to live up to the expectations of what other people see you as. And I understand that because I do this weekly. And when I'm out in public, I'm thinking, well, what are people expecting, right? Are they expecting you I can't go have a hour-long conversation with everybody about their feelings and shit. So like is that what people are expecting? Or when I do go and do that and I'm out at a public event, like now it's weird. Like people look at you like you're weird because you're trying to have this heart to heart when you're just out having some drinks.
So you just want to chill, like just oh my gosh. One of the most annoying things is like I'm a be a big person one day. You know what I'm saying? But I like to be treated like a normal guy. So I don't like when people like they figure out like I make music. Like it's like if I want to tell you I make music, I'll tell you if I make music. You know what I'm saying? But when you tell people like you make music and then they figure out who you are and then they start figuring out who you know, man, dude, the conversations are never normal anymore. It just oh man, so when you gonna make a song together, bro? When you want to get in the studio? I'm like, man, dog, I don't know. I'll get up with you.
Do you think that's mainly from the fact that you know Saba personally and
Yeah,
obviously receive
yeah, hell yeah, is 1% like from like or like just Pivot Gang in general. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys, they're great people. Like I've known them like for like 10 years. There's like my older brothers basically. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like just because I know them doesn't mean like it's this renowned amount of like my life is just changing something. I'm still a normal person, and to this day, I'm very like if like unless it's like somebody that knows who I am. If I just met somebody, I don't say I met. I don't do anything. I'm just like yeah, man. I'm just a normal guy. I just chilling out. Yep, nice to meet you.
it's harder when it comes from somebody that's not a part of the entertainment industry because those are the same people that think you go viral once and you got all this money in the world. Those are the same people that think, oh, I got a message from so and so that your life's about to change. Like, your life is going to change based on how hard you work after that moment
Exactly.
happens, right?
Exactly.
Even if you got a Saba feature, right? You got the Saba feature, but if the song only does 2,000 plays, not that I'm saying it would, but if it were to only do 2,000 plays, you need to do more work outside of that.
I'll say it here. I'll say it again. A cosign don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Unless it's Drake.
unless it's Drake. But for the most part, cosigns don't mean shit. And it's just like, It's just the person saying, "Oh, it's cool," you know. Life continues on regardless if they're gonna keep sharing you, if they're not gonna share you, if you hang out with them, if you don't. It truly does not matter.
So how do you feel like this pressure has impacted the way that you approach the music?
I put like a unnecessary amount of pressure on me sometimes, but you know, pressure makes diamonds type shit. You know, so I always feel like I gotta work 10 times harder from a lot of other artists because my sound is different. You know, and like I've always been in like the Chicago rap space. So since I came in here like since 2013, I've always tried to be alternative, or I don't even want to say try. I just always have. Like that's just naturally what I do, and it's just I'm like, damn, like how do I take what other people are doing, but I make it me? Like I want people to listen to my music, but I don't want to lose the essence of myself. So I just put pressure on myself. Like I gotta, I gotta be dope. I gotta be good. Like I have to be the best me. I don't have to be the best rapper because I'm not really a rapper in my eyes anymore. I'm like an artist, but I have to be so good at being me more than other people are with themselves. So I'm like, if I'm gonna put out a body of work, I don't want anybody to say like, man, that it was okay. Like if people listen to my music and stuff like that, they could it could be for not for them, but they can't deny that like, oh, this guy knows how to put together music. Like this the guy's sonics on here is like amazing, like no matter what. And that's the pressure I just have. Is I want to be the best at doing what I do.
And I do want to give you props on the production on the album. The production on the album's crazy. That's why Madness is one of my favorite songs because of the way that it's sequenced and just the way it changes. Like once we drop that performance video, that shit's about to be crazy. My producer, he's even like, yo, that sounded like some Kanye Yeezus shit, you know? So the fact that you take that different approach than what everybody else is doing, because you could easily be another rapper. You could easily be somebody that's making alternative music just to make alternative music, but putting your own spin on it, that's what's going to set you apart. And that's the one thing that most people don't realize. Like they have an idea and they don't know how to separate themselves. They want to be like everybody else.
I don't know. Everybody always tries to talk like they're like a victim or like the black sheep in certain situations, but like I've just, in a sense, always felt like an outcast. Even like I'm a loner at heart. You know what I'm saying? I have so many friends. Like I have like amazing family on both sides. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just a very, for the most part, to myself person. So when I'm just like going about things or like doing things, I'm just trying to figure out how to make sure like I'm my best.
So do you feel like that feeling comes from you separating yourself or people pushing you away?
It's like a mixture of the both. It's like a mixture of the both because it's just like I want to help people. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the most helpful people. I'm probably one of like the most trustworthy friends of a lot of my friends. But the thing is, it's like I've been hurt so much that it's hard for me to let certain people in. So who I let in, I hold close to my heart, but I keep a certain amount of distance for protection for myself. You know, and it's for to like my betterment or my detriment. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, I feel like separating myself and doing things like that is how I better myself because I do like I am very introspective and I do a lot of self analyzing. You know, and I feel like if you can't give yourself criticism, and how are you gonna grow as a person, grow as an individual? Like I'm always trying to grow. I'm not trying to stay like stagnant and think the same way I did like even like 30 minutes ago. Like how do I change that? You know, if I don't like that habit, how do I change this habit?
What's the situation that you go back to that completely changed the way you approach it? Because, right, you said, I've been through a lot, I've been hurt in the past. What was that situation?
When my friend Dylan died in 2019, I just felt like I had to live for him. And I was just like, damn, I gotta change, cause like if he believed in me as much as he did, you know what I'm saying? Well, why am I not believing myself in the same way? I feel like that's like disrespectful to him.
But what was the answer you found?
I don't know. It's just something inside me talking to me, and maybe it's just like my trusted angels around me and stuff like that. But it's just like there's something. It's like something inside of me that's just like you're gonna be okay, but you can't stop moving.
But you said that there was this lack of belief in yourself.
Yeah,
Where did that come from?
I feel like I just never got my flowers, and I came to a point. I don't remember when I came to a point, but I came to a point that like it really doesn't matter like what other people think or like who's gonna give you your credit at the end of the day. Just be happy for what you do get and stop looking at what you don't get. Because a lot of people to this day, because of social media, we're always looking at what other people have, what and what we don't have, and that shit kills you. Like it makes you sad. Like you're just like, oh, I'm just not anything. And when I just got to a certain point where I was just like, I just don't care anymore. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm happy. Something like sitting here, like simply like you care enough to like be like, oh, he's dope. I mess with his music. That's good enough for me. But at a certain point when I was younger, I always felt like I needed more. And now I don't really feel like I need more. I'm just appreciative of what I do get.
That's a pro and a con because you can almost fall into this complacency because now you're just accepting everything that you do have. But once again, right, you want to be grateful for everything that you have. So, as somebody that's chasing everything that they want, you never want to end up in that hole of complacency because you fall into that and it's like, okay, like I got this, I'm good, let me fall back. When in reality, like this is a fast moving industry. You have to understand like people can forget about you in one instance, right? Because everything's about what's viral right now.
So
If I'm viral today, no, hold on,
no,
my
no,
bad.
my
I
bad.
know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, right? You want to be grateful for everything that you have, and you can't be so focused on what everybody else is thinking around you. I'm just saying, like, I saw it as both. There's a pro and a con, right?
The thing is, what you're saying is wonderful, right? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is because I was so in a mindset of like not appreciating and at least stopping to smell my flowers, you're never gonna be grateful for anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I don't have the drive. Like just a few minutes ago, I'm always trying to get better. Like that's my main drive. Like I want to be one of those people that's in me. You know what I'm saying? But you're never gonna be happy if you don't know how to stop and just chill for a second and be like, damn, I do got this. And then, okay, I got that. Let me get up and go do it again. You know what I'm saying? Let me go get up and do it again and better. That's no reason I can keep doing this.
Why do you feel like you needed the public's reception to be positive? You needed their confirmation of what you were doing.
Again, I've always had like a chip on my shoulder, like I got something to prove. And maybe I'll probably never lose that, but it's just not as strong as it once used to be. But it's just because like being alternative and being different, it's harder for me to do a lot of stuff. It is so much harder. And being in the rap space in Chicago, for me personally, it's very hard for like my contemporaries to be like, oh, he's dope. You know what I'm saying? I have to try, as I said, I have to try 10 times harder. So if I'm feeling like my contemporaries are showing all these other people all this love, and then me personally, I'm just like, damn, like, why am I not getting the same credit or something like that? That shit starts to eat at you. Like we can all sit here and people can be like they don't care. Like it's more so like a defense mechanism when people say they don't care, you know? But that shit it eats at you. I've just gotten to a point now that it's just like, okay, they don't want to give it to me. It's just like it's a little frustrating, but like I'm not finna let that hold me down. You know what I'm saying? Let me be happy for the people that came, and then let me try to get more people that want to be a part of it instead of caring about the people that don't want to be a part of it. That's just how I look at it.
Nobody actually does anything because they don't want people to listen to it or they don't want people to watch. Like, why the fuck would you do this shit if you're not trying to have people listen to it, especially putting it out, right? Because there's one thing like if somebody said, I don't really care if people hear it and just keep it to themselves and listen to it themselves. But if you're putting it out into the world, why are you putting it out into the world if you don't want anybody to hear that shit?
Exactly. Like I couldn't even explain it. Like you just said it perfectly nail on the head.
In between all of that, right, you had that support system, those people that were all sending you these voicemails, specifically, right, Asar. Saba, your mom, Willie Williamson. There were two more, Fox Phaser and Ghost. How did these messages help push you to continue the album after going through all these hardships that you were facing?
The voicemails didn't help me keep going. It was it's my mom. like when my mom passed in May, because I was working on the album regardless. But then my mom and my grandma figured out like they both like my mom and grandma had cancer around the same time. Um, so my mom passed in May. I was just like, dang, like I don't even know if I want to do it anymore, you know? And I was just gonna chill out. I was just gonna maybe drop two more songs through the year or something like that. And then I was just like, yeah, I'll come back to the drawing board. But my mom, when I was looking for like voicemails and stuff from for my mom, I was just like, let me go listen for some stuff. I found like one, and her saying like she's proud of me. Like my mom has always been like my number one supporter. There's a whole history between me and my mom's story. I didn't grow up with my mom, but my mom has always been like one of my biggest supporters since high school, even when I was doing music. And she would always be like, "Oh, I'm proud of you. I just watched your video. Like, I just showed all these people your video. Like, go, Chris. Like, I'm like, So when I heard that voicemail, I was just like, nah, I can't just not drop this, like, drop a project now or like give up on the album now just because she passed. She would definitely be like, nah, you should still put it out. You should still do it. Why would you not do it? Like, I want you to do it, son. Type thing. So it was really my mom more so the voicemails. Like it just felt like this energy around me and like her like kind of like talking to me like, you got it. It's okay. Like she'll be all right. Like, same thing how I said earlier about my homie Dylan. Like, live for me. Don't stop living because I'm gone. Keep living for me because that's what I will want you to do.
So then, how did you cope with all of this negativity that was surrounding you at that time? Finding out not only the person that gave birth to you, but the person that then raised you.
I don't know how to explain it. It's like a lot of my friends, and my girlfriend. They helped me a lot, like through that negative period in my life, because it's just like, but also like I'm having to be strong, like you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm like negative and stressing all the time, especially for my grandma, because even when my grandma was raising me, she'd be like trying to still make me happy and doing the best she can within her means. So I'm like, I can't like stop. Like I can't just start being sad and not doing anything for her or like making her feel stressed out. It's not gonna help her any better get through this. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what helped me through that negative time. More so than music, it's just like my foundation, who I got around me. Cause like all these people that I've been there for, through their lowest points, that thing comes back to help you out. That's why it's so important to like treat people how you want to be treated. Because if you treat people like crap, then I'm like, "Oh, okay, you'll be alright. You'll deal with it on your own." But because like I've always been like, if my friend like sad or something, I call him like, "Bro, you want to sit here on the phone for an hour?" You know what I'm saying? I sit here and listen to you. If my girlfriend just want to sit around, we don't even got to talk. She just needs somebody to be around her while she goes. I'm like, okay, we could sit here and just be around each other. We don't got to say nothing. My grandma just want to sit there and vent to me. I'm like, go ahead, grandma. You know what I'm saying? Like, like whatever, iron sharper iron type thing. It takes a village, and the village helps you back type thing. And that's just what helped me through that point in my life.
It feels like all this bad shit just happens all at once. When it rains, it pours, right? There's this song by Ed Sheeran. It's called Can't Stop the Rain, I think. I think that's what it's called. And in the song, he's talking about, there's shit just keeps happening. And it feels like this cloud is following me. I mean, that's why people, there's a picture of a dark cloud following you when bad shit's happening, right? It feels like everything can just is going wrong. All this negative shit's happening all at once. And how do you move past it when it seems like it's following you, And for you, you've mentioned that you're not a person that believes in therapy or medicine or anything like that when it comes to the mental health side. Why not explore therapy in those cases, though?
Now I am. So I am in therapy and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I haven't like said anything about this public or anything. So when my project came out, I was actually in a mental health institution. So I wasn't aware of like everything that happened. I had a panic attack and I was stressed out. So because I wasn't handling my stress well, because I got to keep going, I got to keep moving, I got to keep doing this, and then I was gone for like a week. So, shout out my management team. They were like, still promoting the project and all that for me. Like, so nobody even knew I was even gone. You know what I'm saying? But I was in there and you get like a lot of time to think when you have nothing else to do. So I just was like, dang, I gotta get myself together because like if I'm not okay, how am I gonna help all the people out here? You know what I'm saying? Or how I'm gonna be there for the people. So I was very big on like I don't like how medicine feels. And I don't want to do therapy because I'll be all right. Because like I'm very big on like trying to help yourself, try to figure out yourself, you know. But after just going through that, I've had like a change of mind now. I was just like, yeah, I need to understand and accept help from other people and not just help from my friends. Like, it's okay to talk to a therapist and stuff like that. And it's okay, to take medicine from time to time. It's not something I'm fond of, but the thing is because it's like this mindset of like it makes you weaker. And I just don't like things that make me feel like I can't do it by myself. But it's not healthy to think like that. It's very negative. It's actually to your detriment. Like it's gonna make you. I feel like it's weaker to now. I feel like it's weaker to think like you don't need help than it just taking it. You
It's
know,
okay to not be okay.
it's okay not to be okay, and like especially like somebody like me, where I'm all for it. Like I've never told anybody like don't go to therapy or don't take medicine. I've never told anybody like that. I've always been like, whatever feels like help you need to do for yourself, do that for yourself because everybody's different. Like if like somebody's like, dang, I need to go in the forest for like a week and meditate and not talk to anybody, go do that. You know what I'm saying? If that's what's gonna help you, do it. But you gotta find your rhythm. You gotta find your beat because everybody is playing a different tune.
Nobody can give you the answer.
Exactly.
You got to find the answer for yourself, and whatever works for you is going to be just that. If you're just trying to solve everybody else's problem, you're never going to be able to solve your own problems.
Exactly.
You mentioned that you were more focused on trying to help others, even at, I don't want to say it's your lowest point, but even at one of your lowest points, you're thinking about others. Why is that so important to you?
My grandma. My grandma, dude. My grandma, she's always been help first and put herself second. And I've got that. I don't want to say unfortunate or fortunately. Like I just can't help it. I always be like, man, it's okay. I'll figure it out later. But what's going on with you first? And I'm just like, now I'm trying to be a little more selfish with myself and be like, yo, let me get myself right, then I can help you out.
It's a gift and a curse, right?
It's a gift and a curse. Like I love helping people. I really do. Like a friend of mine hit me up, and I forgot this happened. You have to remind me of it, but a friend of mine hit me up and he was like, yo, like, you know, I'm having like a tough time right now. Like I'm selling art. You know what I'm saying? If you want to buy some of my art, like just to help me out, like I want to give you something for some money. And I told him straight up, I was just like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not trying to buy no art right now, but yeah, I'll send you some bread right now. I don't really care. Like I'm in a tough position, but we all struggling out here. So like you need to eat today. Like I'll figure out the money later. But if you gotta eat today, here, take some bread. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be all right later. And that's just kind of always been my mindset. And even in my music, like I put my whole heart out on the track. You know what I'm saying? And think about it later, like if like did I do too much or whatever. But I feel like other people need it before I do. Cause like a big thing I say all the time is like, I make music for myself first. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's pointless if nobody hears it. Cause like I wanna help save lives. The same way how like some of my favorite artists have done for me.
In what ways have you seen this backfire on you, though, being so giving?
I usually ask if I say certain names in songs. I ask them beforehand. And then sometimes I feel like people say, oh no, you can go ahead and say that. But then like I feel like they say it in the moment and then they realize later like, I kind of wish you just didn't at least put my name or you didn't say this situation or something like this, you know? Um, so in ways that's backfired. I feel like a project I dropped in 2019 when I dropped like this project called Kelly Summers. I was like very into like whatever I was going through with somebody at that time. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm going to make music about it. So then I make music about it and I put it out. And then, like, in the moment, it's like it feels good. But now to this day, I'm just kind of like, I wish I didn't give this person power.
Made a whole album about him.
You know what I'm saying? So
How you go on later and fucking explain that to somebody, bro?
I wouldn't do it again. Not now.
You can't say that now, bro. Your
wouldn't.
girlfriend's gonna watch this and she's gonna be like, damn, you wouldn't make a song about me?
No, I would make a song about my girlfriend. I have made songs about my girlfriend.
But not a whole album. She's not good enough for a whole album, bro.
I can't do a whole. Not right now. Maybe when I have my chance to rap her moment. Maybe when I have my the big day moment. When I get married and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But not right now. I can't give that. I can't give that type of power to somebody. You know what I'm saying?
What repercussions did you see from that?
It's more so a personal thing. I'm just like, man, dude, I was so mad at this person that I gave you a whole 7 tracks. Why I do that? It's just like a me thing. Like everybody else is like, I don't know. I love the project. I don't think it's bad. But like,
I think it's because you're looking at it from a personal, like, you know.
No, that's 100% what it is.
I mean, for me, right, I've talked about so many different situations. Like, this is the 130th episode, bro. So I talked about so many situations in the past that I'm not going to say I don't remember their name, but I probably don't even remember who I was talking about at that time.
Dude,
you know what I'm saying? So, like, when you run it that way, it's kind of like, this is just my truth at the moment. And it's almost like a temporary feeling. You felt this way at one point, and it's great to document that. It's amazing because you look back and you're like, damn, I really was living through some shit.
No, you're 100% right. And you, like, I promise you, there's been so many people that said your same thing before. And that's the reason why it's like still out and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna take it away.
You said I was gonna take it down.
It was so close.
She hurt you like that, bro?
It don't matter. But I don't care now. But like in that moment, I was like, man, screw this. But like, now I'm just kind of like, it's good music. People like it. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's still like I can't help but like I'd never give somebody that much power again. You know what I'm saying? You can get a song, you can't get a whole project. That's just how I look at that.
Going back to the loss of your mom and all that negativity that was surrounding you at that time, how has that loss forced you to change?
In terms of like losing my mom, I already lost my dad. Like when I was like,
gosh, bro. No wonder you say Grim is your best friend, bro.
I already lost my dad when I was like in 7th grade. It was pretty fucked time too. Like what happened? I broke my legs 2 days before. It was 2 days before. So
bro, like
I broke my leg like
you know how the devil works hard for you, bro.
Man, I'm still going. So I broke my leg November 5th, 2007. And this is the last time I saw my dad. So I broke my leg. My dad came and picked me up from middle school. I was in the hospital, so my dad and my grandma sat through me with the whole hospital. My dad dropped me off and stuff at home, carried me in the house because I just broke my leg. And then 2 days later, like, we get like a call, like, it was like 3 days in the morning because I had to sleep upstairs in my house at this time because my leg's broke. I don't know how to get up and down the stairs yet on crutches. So, because my room's in the basement. It's a long story. But, we get a phone call and, like, they're like, Nelson Thurman has passed. And I'm just like, see my grandma crying. So I have to go through that whole transition in my life at like, 11, 12. And this is the first time I've ever experienced something like this. I've never lost anybody significant in my life since that day until probably around when my great grandma died, or when my great grandma died, Dylan died in 2019. So like from like 2007 up to 2019, I was just kind of in this place of like, well, I've already lost a parent. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to feel anything. So I'm trying to learn being a kid, going into adulthood, how to deal with like loss. Cause I wasn't in real therapy. Like I had like, I forget what it's called. Like,
He had the school counselor checking in on
you know
him.
what I'm saying? Something like that. Like I would have like weekly check-ins, like, but I never wanted to talk about it. I never wanted to talk about my dad and stuff like that. And so growing up, like, I wasn't the closest with my dad, but it's still my parent, you know. So and not growing up with my mom or my dad really kind of just made me feel weird. I'm like, how am I supposed to deal with the loss of a parent?
Well, how are you supposed to even feel at that time too?
You know what I'm saying? I'm lost. Like I didn't realize that's when depression started for me until I got older. Like I didn't realize I was depressed. I was just acting out and didn't know why. Cause like it's like a big thing in like the black community. Like we nowadays, like now in 2023, it's getting better and better. But around that time, we don't know how to deal with mental health and stuff like that. They didn't really know how to deal with my ADHD around that time. So I'm just trying to figure out how the hell, what do I feel right now? Like I'm upset, I'm sad, but I'm angry, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. So fast forward to like now, like losing my losing my friend and my mom. I was just kind of like, I already kind of knew how to deal with it. I was just like, okay, I've already lost somebody significantly, and I dealt with that at a young age. So it's just like I know how to adjust to this. It's just gonna take time. There's not much you can do about it because the feeling's not gonna go away. You're gonna still cry from time to time. You're gonna still remember like memories that you had with that person. You're gonna still wish they were here. It's never gonna change. It's just not gonna change. It didn't change from a minute when it happened. It's not gonna change 10 years from now. You're gonna always be like, "Damn, I wish this was a thing." But the thing is, like, you got to be appreciative of what you did have with them, and you need to just be happy about the memories. That at least you have memories. Cause it would suck if you just didn't have anything at all with them, And I think that was the biggest thing that helped me. Cause like, to go back to when I lost my dad, I was angry at the world around that time. Cause it's just like I'm 11, 12. I'm like, bro, like, and this is when like my dad was trying to be more in my life, like. So I was just like, dang, man, like he was starting to be around more. I had a dad, and now the person I'm trying to look up to, it's gone. Like, what am I supposed to do through life and stuff like that? And then I just resented him for it. I was mad at him because I didn't understand. I didn't understand what happened. And I was just like, how he just leave me like that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like mad at everybody because I'm just like, I feel alone. Like nobody gets it. But you know what I'm saying? And then like even for my grandma, that was like her first kid. So how does she feel?
For somebody who hadn't been to therapy, how did you come to understand yourself so well? Understanding like I have this resent towards somebody that's not here. I wish they were here and now I don't have that person, and just navigating all those emotions cuz that's a lot for one person to navigate.
You don't understand a lot when you're a kid, dude. Like you don't. So at that time, I don't understand anything. And I didn't start getting stuff until like I got around like 19, 20. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where I would talk to people. Like, I would listen to other people's stories. And when you start to understand you're not alone in what you're doing and stuff like that, um or you've not the first person that's ever been through this, it helps you a lot. It helps out a lot. It not just that, like listen to like a lot of Kid Cudi around that time and a lot of other artists around that time. And you start to understand, dang, I'm not the only person that's ever been through this. Like, you know, but from high school and then up to 20, it's just like you start to think like, man, what was wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? Like that's when I started becoming really introspective. And I'm just like, I am obviously upset about this. Why did this affect me in this way? And you start to understand was like, man, like, well, I had to learn how to what's the definition of a man on my own. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have a dad, and that's important. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like That's why I'm mad because I was just like, this was somebody that I look up to, and people say I look alike, and you know, people wanted, in a sense, like sometimes expecting me to be like him, and it's just like that's where some more resentment is, because I'm like, am I not my own person?
What is that definition now?
'Cause I don't know. It's whatever I make it. I feel like being a man right now is that I can be open and I can communicate and talk about my feelings. That I'm not scared to fail. You know, like I can get back up and keep going. I'm not scared to grow. Like I'm there for people. That's what my definition of a man is. I feel like it's what you make it. Cause like I used to work this job at this warehouse with like these like 30-year-old like West Side guys. You know what I'm saying? Great people, have nothing but love for them. You know what I'm saying? They taught me a lot, but like their definition of a man is like, oh, just keep working hard. Don't talk about your feelings. Keep going. And I'm just like, well, I don't like that. That's not that doesn't help me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta communicate my feelings in order for me to keep going there. So like I'm just gonna explode. I'm gonna be stressed. And but that's their definition, and then there's my definition, and you probably have your own definition. You know what I'm saying? Like it's what you make it. It's not. Nobody can write your story for you. You got to write your own.
Understanding, what you want that definition to look like and what that means to you. Like you're saying, right? That's what matters because everybody can tell you this is what you're supposed to be. This is what you should be. And if you're not this, then you're not what you're supposed to be.
And that's a big problem.
And then it makes you doubt yourself and you're like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to be? Because your definition doesn't look too hot right now. Let me analyze your life. Let me sit down and look at what you're doing. Does it line up?
Yeah.
Are you happy with who you are because you're living by the standard that you set for yourself? And most likely somebody's going to tell you, no, I wish I could have done this. No, I wish I could do this. And because I can't do this, now I'm mad at not only myself, but the people that set this definition for me at the beginning. So, like you said, right? The definition of being a man. Most people will say, oh, you got to be hardworking. You got to be tough. You got to be not talking about your feelings. Now you're angry and you don't even know why.
At all, dude.
So understanding that there's something deeper and evolving with the times, understanding like a man doesn't need to bottle their emotions.
Whoever you with, whoever you choose your partner to be, like that stuff starts to affect your relationships. You know what I'm saying? If you're just bottling up your emotions and stuff all the time, you can't. How do you be there for like somebody you choose to be with, like for life or something like that? You can't do that if you're like not handling yourself right. And it's like there's different tough definitions for tough. Like I think it's tough that you have a podcast like this where people can talk about their feelings and stuff. That's tough. You know what I'm saying? But other people feel like it's just tough, like to, just whatever, put on your bag and go to work type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So then how do you feel like you came to what your definition is?
You gotta live life. It's as simple as that. It's not like a convoluted explanation. It's not like I figured out at this moment because I'm still figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? My definition of I could add a new definition to what I feel as a man is tomorrow. You know? It's just about not being scared to fail and just do what you feel is right. Excuse me. Because sometimes what you feel is right at that moment can end up you don't want to like it later. You know what I'm saying? It's like food. You know what I'm saying? You don't eat the same stuff you used to eat as a kid. Your mind is always changing.
And accepting that things are changing. A Ghost of Self, your album, it's surrounded by the idea of moving on from what your past self was, not chasing the idea of what you need to be anymore from the past, but moving forward with your future. I'm right on that, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You got it.
Before you're chasing all these things of what you need to be, this ideation of what happiness looked like for you, this ideation of this is the person I need to be for people to accept me. What do you feel like was the toughest part that you had to leave behind?
It sounds like it's contradicting, but like I have to be in a shell. Like I don't have to be in a shell. Like I can be who I really am, and I don't have to create who I feel LaSalle Grandeur is. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the toughest part to let go. Like I don't have to walk outside and I have to act like this. I can be like totally like if I'm off one day and I just don't want to talk to somebody, that's okay. Like I don't have to force myself and be like, "Oh, no, I have to go out there and do that networking today." Nah, man, I want to chill out in the back. I'll say hello to people, but I don't really want to converse today.
So what made you hold on to that for so long?
When you're so hungry, you feel like you got to play the game the right way in this industry. You know what I'm saying? And this industry is all about relationships. So you feel like if you're not like going out there and you're not don't have this relationship, you don't go to this event, you feel like you're missing out on something. So then you start to be like, okay, I gotta be this person. You know what I'm saying? It's it's no different than sometimes it leads you to greatness, but sometimes it could lead you down a hole. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than like Michael Jordan when he was like, look, I had to play a certain way in order to win these championships. I had to be the best. Like he talks about it, in the last dance. He's like I had to play that way. But if you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. But this is what I had to do to win.
Well, I think one of the hardest parts about that is you have this idea that you, like you said, you have to play that way. And when you do play that way and you don't see the results that you're looking for, it becomes frustrating and it deviates you from wanting to do it that way. So now all this effort and time that you put into chasing something that you're not seeing any results from, you just feel like, oh well, like let me give up because nothing's gonna come of it. And I I mean I can't necessarily say I can say I've felt stagnant at certain points where I'm like, okay, what the fuck do I do next? How do I get to that point? And are people even gonna care? Because sometimes it's like, well, I did it, but nobody gave a fuck. Like, I would say this for example, right? Like sometimes for me, I have an interview. I'm like, damn, this shit's gonna go crazy. Like it's a dope ass interview, fire. I'm like 400 people easily. Then you get like 50 people that watch the shit. I'm like, bro,
Exactly,
like
man.
it's funny as fuck because it's like, damn, I really put in all this work and effort and like nobody's watching it. And you know what's the hard part right now? Um, Instagram and TikTok, like you never fucking know. Like it's a guess, bro. It's literally a fucking guess. Like sometimes the shit will go crazy. Sometimes it's like, all right, it flopped. But from that, it's understanding like, all right, bounce back. Like it's one day, but the next day your life can fucking change. Like it you never know what the fuck's gonna happen. It's hard when you taste that success and then out of nowhere it's like it's gone. So you're chasing something, you're chasing this idea of what happiness is and like you said it changes consistently. Nothing ever stays the same in this life. You can't guarantee. I was just watching a video. It's with Becky G and Becky G's talking about you can't guarantee anything in life. You can't even guarantee forever with somebody. So to guarantee that success is going to come from this method, it's not true. Everybody's going to find their own way to succeed. And sometimes success starts to look different as you progress in life. Now, happiness, it's in your caption. You talk about that. You're chasing this idea of what happiness looks like and what it has to be. What version of happiness were you chasing?
Just letting go of trying to be who you once were because you're always changing and just accepting who you are now.
What part of you were you afraid to lose, though?
I don't know the answer to that. I just feel like when life is changing all the time, you're just like, you're just worried about like, I don't know, like you want to like move forward to the future, but then you're like scared of the future because you don't want to forget your past. but then there's so much pain in your past, you become used to it, and then like you become like stagnant in it, and then you just have certain habits and you have certain things you like to do, and it's like being scared of growth. So it creates like it's like Stockholm syndrome. You know what I'm saying? It creates like this environment of like, dang man, I'm kind of cool with this. Like, what I don't want to do is next. But then I wasn't happy, so I'm just like, how do I become happy with myself?
So what was it that made you realize it's time to move forward, move past this ghost per se?
I kind of create eras with my music, so my sound starts to change. I can tell like, oh, I'm changing because when I write music, I zone out. It's my subconscious talking to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really thinking about what I'm writing because I write alone a lot. So I just really try to be like, okay, oh this sounds good, or I like this line, and then when I listen to the song after, I'll be like, dang, that's what's going on. I didn't know that was what's going on. I need to do something about this. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, yeah, I got to make some certain changes because I'm talking to myself through my music, and I was like, it sounds like I'm in a lot of pain and I just want to be better right now.
The concept of a ghost of self, that shit just fucking hit. Especially when I read that caption, I'm like, damn, chasing this idea of what you need to be and making music, making something that now is speaking to what you are currently. I think what makes us hold on to the past mainly is we didn't cherish the moments that we were happy. We didn't cherish the things that we had until they were gone. This can come from a relationship, a friendship, an opportunity. You realize you were this close to something and you feel like the only way you can stay close to it is by sitting in that past experience and holding on and reaching back. When really what you need to be doing is letting go and moving forward because that's how progress is made. That's how you become a better person. And when you're holding on to that, you're going to get nowhere. You're just stuck in limbo. And it's like you said, Stockholm syndrome, toxic relationship. You're holding on to something when God's really telling you, like, nah, this ain't for you. Let go and I'll show you something better. In the song Trusted Angels, you say, I'ma leave when things get too affectionate. Believe me, I don't want to run away. Yet everyone I love fades away. And knowing your history, I'm like, damn, like it almost feels like you feel like you're the cause of all this bad shit happening. I don't know if that's how you actually feel, but in that sentence, right, you're saying almost, I need to get away from you before something bad happens to you because everybody around me fades away. And there's another song, I can't remember the name, but where you talk about, right, Grim is my best friend. That's why I'm so anti. I was like, damn, bro, like it genuinely feels like you believe that you're the reason that all this shit keeps happening.
That's the subconscious. Like it's like um my relationship with my girlfriend is great, but it took a bit to get to this point. And that line in particular, you know what I'm saying? I remember we were talking one time, and I was reading the lyrics from that song. I was like, yeah, man, like I don't know, I just feel like how sad I am at this moment. I just don't want to bring you down, and like something bad, like something bad happens to you, or like you just feel like you're not your best, because like uh, it's something I've been working on, but like not putting self blame on myself for things I can't control, you know, and yeah, that line right there, and like encapsulates like a lot of what I was feeling around in that song, because I made that song. We're going back to my mom again, but I made the song the day my mom died. So like, when my brother texted me, I just kind of woke up and I was like, dang. So I just went to my laptop and started like making the beat for that, and I just autopilot, and then it was kind of like a song for my mom and my dad. Because when I was a kid, my dad used to drive a Tahoe all the time. So that's why I go like, searching for some meaning in a Tahoe. Because it's just kind of like, I kind of reminisced when I was a kid and I would look at my dad as he was driving because he just kind of always looked like he was thinking all the time. And his favorite slogan was like, imagine that. And I just kind of like, when I think of imagine that, it's like, um, dream. What are you thinking about? What are you dreaming about? And, you know, that's just kind of like what I made around that song because it was just like, it felt like all the people that I held deep close to my heart, like my parents and like one of my closest friends, like they were just there with me writing that song. That's why it's called Trusted Angels. Cause it's just like it just kind of came together so beautifully. And it means a lot too that like that line like stuck out to you. Cause that line, every time I hear it, I'd be like, man, what was I going through when I wrote that? Like
This fear of loss, how have you seen it impact your ability to develop and establish relationships?
it's like good and bad. Like um because I'm so scared of loss, um, I don't let certain people in. It's very hard to let people in so close to my heart because I'm just like, "Well, I'm just gonna lose you. Not everything's forever, so I'm just gonna lose you. I'm just gonna, so we cool, but I can't let you too far in. But then it's bad because then like the people I do let in, if they're bad for me, I have to learn how to just let people that just aren't good for me go. Like I'm pretty good at it now, but at a certain point in time, I wasn't. So even if they're bad for me, I'll be trying to hold on to that person. Even if like they're hurting me, I'll forgive them. Like I'm a very forgiving person, you know, because I wasn't respecting my own personal boundaries. Now these days, like I set my boundaries. I'm like, I can love you from a distance. It's okay. Like, but before I'd be like, okay, you did this fuck shit. Like, it's okay. I forgive you. Like, we'll try to work through it, and then they do it again. And I'm like, oh, why did that happen again? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Because you didn't set your
their
boundary.
boundaries.
You didn't set your boundary properly, and you allowed your fear to dictate the way that you carry yourself. So understanding that and starting to establish those boundaries, now you see the changes in how people are going to treat you.
Yeah.
What did it take for you to finally understand that you needed to change that about yourself?
That my heart wasn't okay. Uh, that that's a simple answer. I could put it like that. It's just my heart wasn't okay. Like, why do I feel bad whenever I'm around this person? Why am I angry or upset? Like I've forgiven him, but I'm telling myself I've forgiven him, but I haven't, and my body is like telling me like I don't like this. Like this makes me feel sad, or I'm having anxiety whenever I see this person, or I'm just very very upset. So it's listening to my heart, my brain.
Were those these ghosts that you were talking about?
Yeah, some of them were people that I no longer congregate with. Some of them is myself. I say it's more so myself, if anything, because it's just like um, just trying to make sure, like not make sure, but trying to battle, my past and be like, this is who I am now. My body didn't like who I was before. My heart didn't like who I was. My brain didn't like who I was before. So, you know, I like who I am now, and I don't want to be that person again.
At what point do you feel like you'll stop chasing a ghost of self?
I think I already have. I think I let it go when I dropped the project. I think once like I just put it out there, those thoughts don't have to hold me anymore. Like I don't. It's cool. Like it's time to write a new book or a new chapter, however you want to look at it. I look at kind of like my projects as like their own books.
So what's this new chapter look like?
I'm figuring out as I go. I don't really have a plan at the moment. You know what I'm
Gotta hit Saba, bro.
saying? We'll see what happens.
He'll drop you a new voicemail.
Drop me last.
Make sure you guys go ahead, check out. Go ahead, say the name. I don't want to fuck it up, bro.
That's why you good. Yo, LaSalle Grandeur. You find me at Lassa is yours. Check out my new album, A Ghost of Self. Appreciate Sad Boy Radio having me here.
Make sure you guys go ahead, check out the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Sad Boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.